Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Will the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for Wednesday, June 21st, 2017, please come to order? I'd like to start off tonight by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. If anybody would like to stand and say it with me, please do. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's okay. All right, for the benefit of those who may not have participated in a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, our procedures are as follows. 1, we will read the legal call to the meeting as published in local newspapers. 2, the applicant will be invited to come forward and present the case, explaining to the Commission and others present what is being requested of the property. Comments of town agencies will be read for each application if there are any. 3, there will be clarifying questions from the commissioners. Then there will be an opportunity for clarifying questions from the audience. First, those who wish to support the application may come forward, and second, those who oppose the application will then be invited to come forward and express their opinion. As this is a public hearing, it must be recorded. It is necessary for all speakers to identify themselves by stating their name and address before addressing the commission. The applicant is then free to leave or remain for the balance of the public hearing in the regular meeting, at which time the commission will try to reach a decision on each application. Each applicant will be notified in writing to the decision of the commission and has a right to appeal in Superior Court if desired. Decisions of this meeting are available the day after the meeting by calling the Planning and Zoning Office at 453-8039 after 9 a.m. Tonight, the following Planning and Zoning members are here. We have Phil Johnson's here, Alan Brown, Rich Meyer, Josh Hirschman, Dick Wallace. I'm Frank DeAndrea. We have Ray Bauer, Tom Cost, Walter Corbiere. Staff present tonight are Reggie Reed and George Crawl, and the recording secretary is Lisa Brewer, and our videographer this evening is Peter Schultz. The secretary will now read a legal notice, please.
Notice is hereby given that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on June 21st, 2017 at 7:30 p.m. Location at Nathaniel B. Green Community Center, 32 Church Street, Guilford, Connecticut. Monunketuk Room on the second floor for the following purposes. 66 High Street, Guilford, LLC, map 33, lot 63, zone R1. Amend special permit issued on 2/9/15 to include swimming pool and clubhouse facility. Section 273-19, first public hearing to be continued to 7/5/17 for mandatory second public hearing. Recommendation by the Zoning Committee. Amend Article 7, signs. Add a new section, Section 273-62, digital display signs on town properties, Section 273-91. First public hearing to be continued to 7/5 for mandatory second public hearing. 7/12. Strike that also for 66 High Street for 7/12.
And the sign application's been withdrawn.
Copies of these applications are available for inspection in the office of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Town Hall South, 50 Boston Street, Guilford, Connecticut. At this hearing, persons may attend and be heard, and written communications will be received. Dated at Guilford, Connecticut, this first day of June 2017. Frank DeAndrea, Chairman.
Thank you. So if anybody is here for the digital sign, it was withdrawn. You can feel free to remain, or you don't have to. That was what you were here for. Okay. And tonight, just so we're all clear, I know I didn't do this in the past, but we have all 7 regular members, so to alternates, please feel free to contribute to all discussions. So do we have, first one, we'll call for the public hearing, Winifred Siebert, the Guilford Keeping Society. Going once. Going twice. We'll come back to her.
Chairman, do you want to come back to it just in case they show up?
Yeah, do we have to move that, or could we just?
It says the first, why does it say the first public hearing is continued to July 12th?
Which one do you want? Let me see. Which one do you want?
Just so there's no confusion, July 5th was be your regular meeting, but at your last meeting, evidently you decided to change it to July 12th.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so Jeff White, 160 Woodland Road.
As just stated, Jeff White, 160 Woodland Road.
So we want to refresh our memory on, this is your second public hearing, so this will be the last one.
You didn't take notes?
We did, sir.
I want a garage. My wife wants a garage. More importantly.
Has there been any changes since when you last came here?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Good.
So does anybody need any more information? Did you look at the file to see what was presented in the files?
Looks good to me, I'm good.
Was there a plan presented, do I recall?
Yeah.
There was. It's,
You can look at it.
it's in there. I mean, kind of like the first meeting, it wasn't, but it was in the file, so I guess we had to go back and kind of look at it ourselves. If you want to take a quick peek, and
I just think it would be helpful to know what, if it's a special permit that we're granting,
we really should, right?
we should probably take a peek at it. Otherwise, you know, if you just want to build a smaller one, you don't need a special permit, but if you. Right. So,
He showed us visually the plans at the last meeting.
I believe it's 841, 29 feet by 29 feet.
750.
Right, which is just over the 750.
Yeah, and I want that extra 3 feet so I can store yard stuff. I'm not giving it back.
You all right, Phil?
So,
Good. I reviewed the whole file.
I'm good.
All right, Walter? All right, so.
Make a motion.
We just need to public, yes, I'm sorry, public. Does anybody have any questions? Any comments? For or against?
Make a motion to close public hearing.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Thank you,
All right,
Sid.
thanks, Jeff.
No, thank you.
David Strong?
That's our architect.
Cool. So come up, introduce yourself.
I'm Juliana Ehlert of 504 Goose Lane, Guilford, Connecticut, 06437. We are hoping to turn our garage into a photography studio, so we will enclose it and make a 3-bay photography studio. I do have plans if you'd like to see them again.
Nothing's changed, right?
Nothing has changed.
This is their second public hearing.
Yes, this is our second public hearing. But the other hour is not here.
Only clarification was who was the applicant, the architect,
Right.
or you folks?
Yes.
Is everybody okay?
Move we close it.
Well, hold on. Anybody in the public have any questions? Anybody in the public have any comments?
Move we close public hearing.
Second? All in favor?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good night.
66 High Street, Guilford, LLC. Anybody? Hi, come on up.
Did you see the application?
No?
There's no
Oh, okay, you're not the applicant.
We're the neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Would like to be.
Well, yeah, we gotta present the, yeah, perfect.
So we're out of time.
Is this,
We can receive Allison.
Okay, so we move
Move
to,
to approve the revised agenda, and then we can do that, see who comes in to.
okay. Why don't we do that? Can I get in a motion to approve the revised agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's receive some stuff then, for now.
And we could vote.
we could
We
vote
could
on
vote
these.
on
I can make,
Strong and
David.
I'll make, yeah, I'll make a motion. Voted that the
Okay.
Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit for Jeff White at 160 Goose Lane, map 81, lot 210, to build a garage as shown on application dated 4/26/17. This application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code. The special permit is effective on June 30th, 2017.
Second.
And upon filing with the town clerk.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Don't be so fast, trying to kill time.
Oh, yeah,
Trying to get out of here.
that's right, we're trying to wait for something.
We want to be done by sundown.
None, no discussion? I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion, vote of the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit for David Strong at 504 Goose Lane, map 81, lot 13, for a photo studio and office in a detached garage as shown on an application dated May 5th, 2017. This application is approved based upon a finding that it conforms with the zoning code. The special permit is effective on June 30th, 2017, and upon filing with the town clerk. It is noted that any additions to the garage would require a permit from the Inland Wetlands Commission.
Any discussion on this one?
Straightforward.
Okay, I'll call the vote.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Congratulations.
Allison, I guess you could receive that, and then there's one other letter.
Okay.
Okay.
Make a motion that we receive Allison Pasterfield Associates, Inc. and RTRW LLC site plan revision to Guilford Village West. Approved 6/15/11, eliminate 14 town house and common building, revised common space, change roadway grades and sanitary system, trenches, section 273-118, section 273-187, A7.
I'll second that.
Great.
Want to set a hearing date or anything, or?
No hearing.
No hearing? Oh, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, for section D, I'd like to move to approve the William Ghazi request for a 90-day extension to file Blackberry Ridge subdivision map.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I have reviewed the minutes that were presented for our 6/7 meeting, the regular meeting, and they appear substantially correct. I make a motion that we receive them and accept them.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Everybody's good with them? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I only have one thing while we're waiting, a few minutes under other, and I'd just like to, well, no, not the bills yet. I'd like to, this is Ray's last meeting, so I just want to take a moment just to thank Ray for all of his service. He served as chair of the commission for 4 years, and he was 16 years on the commission as well. He's going to be really missed and going to be tough shoes to follow, but I'd like to say thank Ray for everything.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ray. Okay, so I believe,
Mr. Chairman, just one thing, he called when he started his name earlier. She is away. She was under the impression the first date she was given was July the 12th. She sends her apologies.
not a problem, so we can take.
I'll make a motion to continue both applications to July 12th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, 66 High Street is here.
We'd love for you guys to come up, now that you're not even settled yet.
Good evening. My name is Ronald Nault. I'm a licensed professional engineer with the firm of Luke's Consulting Engineers, and we're here before you tonight on behalf of the 66 High Street project as a permission to add a swimming pool and conversion of an existing residence adjacent to the property to a clubhouse. We had submitted an application shown here on the bottom that showed the basics of the project. Basically, the existing house here to add a pool in the back adjacent to the High Street project. For orientation, Halleck Street runs north-south here. Norton Avenue comes to a end here. And this is a driveway, a common driveway that serves the properties of the Perkins property in the back, industrially zoned here, and two residences, Marcus and Major here, and the existing property of Meter.
So the post office is to the right?
The post office is way up here. So this is the back exit of High Street here. Fair Street runs up to the post office here, and High Street would be running here in that orientation. So the existing house here would remain unchanged in its outside form. It would be sided to match the appearance of the High Street project, a gray clapboard siding, unchanged in shape and residential appearance. A pool, swimming pool in ground would be added to the backyard here with a patio encircling it, one area covered for basically protection from the sun. The original application that I submitted had parking off of this common driveway here, We met with one of the adjacent neighbors, Leslie Marcus, who was unhappy with that concept, and speaking to the owners, we now will be submitting tonight a revised plan shown up here that does away completely with that line of parking along the side of the common driveway, basically opposite the Marcus property here. So the current application, of which I've got copies here for submission. But as I show here, outlined in red here is the house that would be converted to the clubhouse and support use for the pool. The same patio and walkway as before. The 6-foot privacy and pool security fence, the same fence that encircles the High Street property that was a subject of approval by the Historic Commission as well, would be used in this fencing here, and just a handicap spot and a parking spot would be constructed past the telephone pole here, right in the back corner, and mostly hidden by the fencing here, seeking to leave the maple tree on the meter property here, and then in front of the fence along the common driveway between the property line and the edge of pavement on the order of 10 feet would be landscaped similar to how we've landscaped the backyard area at High Street. I brought a couple of photos to show that. As I mentioned, we've maintained the residential appearance of the neighborhood with no change in the size of the structure. This is the landscaping at High Street, which would be carried to the same concept of low shrubs and plantings along in front of the cedar fence in this vicinity here. This area remain lawn to maintain the residential appearance of the neighborhood of well-kept homes in the area here as well. And as I mentioned, just the one area carved out for a handicapped parking space in that vicinity. The pool hours would be similar to most common condominium pool use. It would be for use by the residents of 66 High Street. The facility is expected that it would open at 8 a.m. and close by 9 p.m. Encircled with privacy security fence. And I've added a couple of environmental measures from comments from Kevin McGee. He asked for silt fence along the south side of the driveway. I extended that along the south side of the property to isolate the work area when they're in to do the pool.
There's a letter from Kevin. Did you guys want me to read it now? Or?
Certainly.
Okay, so the applicant is looking at converting the residential house to a clubhouse with a swimming pool. The property is located in a FEMA AE elevation 10 feet flood zone. The plans for the project have sedimentation and erosion control measures on 2 of the 4 sides of the proposed work area. In order to make sure the coastal resources are protected, I recommend the following conditions of approval. First, additional erosion and sedimentation control measures be installed along the existing driveway located on the south side of the property, and a construction tracking pad be installed at the entrance to the work area. And second, the Town of Guilford zoning enforcement officer shall be notified to inspect the sedimentation and erosion control measures prior to any site work. Soil stockpiles should be contained by silt fencing and/or hay bales. Soil erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be maintained until vegetation is established or suitable material is installed to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer. Do you have any problems with those?
So condition 1 I've already complied with, and number 2 is just simple notification. I brought along another photo that might also convey in pictures. This shows the meter property that would be with the pool addition, and it shows how the majority of the lawn would be left just as it is, cedar fence closer to the house, and any parking would be this side of this telephone pole, basically opposite the start of the Perkins property as shown on your site plan. So that telephone pole that's in the photo is the same pole that's shown on the plan view and would be the start of the curb cut for the creation of the 2 parking spaces. So that's the telephone pole here. Nothing would be disturbed over here, and just a curb cut and 2 parking spaces would be placed.
78 mailboxes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Welcome any questions you might have. I understand will be held over automatically to a second public hearing.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Are you proposing as a term of approval, the hours of operation are from 8 in the morning till 9?
I don't know I just wanted to make you comfortable or the residents comfortable of the intent of the use of the pool. I'm not sure if the hours of operation, if that's more town ordinance anyway.
Right.
And you know that the second meeting is on the 12th, not the 5th.
So
Yes.
Reggie, is that by ordinance, or can we make it a term of approval that the hours of operation are not to exceed 8 till 9 o'clock at night?
You're confusing that with the noise ordinance. The noise ordinance is different. Swimming pools usually are regulated by the entity that owns them,
Right.
and they set their own hours.
Because it's a special permit, you could make that a condition of the
So we
approval.
could make it a special permit.
Absolutely.
If you want to put it in there, if you're comfortable, more comfortable with that.
Well, I guess my concern is that, sometimes with these clubhouses, you get private parties, people have parties and they want to have it at the clubhouse. And sometimes, like we did with our friends over at the VA, where they said, it's not going to go on, where.
Yeah, past 11 o'clock.
Right.
They're-
So this is right in the heart of a residential that's not used to this kind of extended hours. So we can, maybe it's something we want to consider just to sort of allay the fears of the neighbors.
Oh, you
that-
can put all the conditions that you want on this.
Right, okay.
Maybe that's something you want to talk to people about for the next meeting, yeah.
Yes.
They indicated that the property is located in an AE flood zone?
I guess just by virtue of the elevation, any land below elevation 10 would be in the non-wave action flood zone of the AE.
Looked at whether or not the work that you're proposing to do on the house, and I don't know whether the pool's included or not, and how that is impacted by substantial improvement according to the flood zone regulations?
I don't think we'd be increasing the value by more than half if I'm familiar with the flood regs, but the addition of the pool won't be changing that value, won't be changing the structure of it as well. So the art.
Have you had an
Yeah.
appraisal done on the building itself alone?
We'll look at that for the next meeting. Thank you.
You don't want to go down that road and then find out after the fact.
Well, to solve that, they'd have to put it up on stilts.
Not if they do not exceed 50% of the value of the building in any calendar year,
Right.
then they don't have to. But if they do, then it's a problem, or it's more expensive.
I think that would be building department anyway.
Thank you. That was a question.
I guess if I was a neighbor here, I'd kind of like to have some idea of what the lighting is going to be here, even if it is only open until 9 o'clock. And there's nothing on this, there's nothing here that discloses anything about lighting, so I don't need an answer right now, but I think that when you come back next time, that it would be nice to understand how you're going to light this so that everybody in the neighborhood is familiar with what's going on.
You want a photometric plan?
I don't care about that, but there's nothing on here anywhere that says how they're going to, there's nothing here, right, the way this is written now, I guess they could put up, I want something on the plan that says what they're going to use for lighting, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's a fair question, fair. He's taking notes, that's great.
The pool, it's an in-ground pool, and you're going to be like 7, 8, 9, 10?
You mean the top deck, the deck level of the pool?
Is it actually raised?
No, no, it'll be below flood level. The pool will be built to resist flood forces as well. The pool design is under the review of a structural engineer separate from us that specializes in pools in flood zone, but I'll get more information on that.
We got an email from Amy Goldfarb, who asked a number of questions, several of which have already been asked. One that she asked that is not is as follows: is any sound equipment planned? What, if any, guidelines will be in place as far as playing music at the pool during events, parties, and day-to-day? The use of outdoor amplified sound systems has a definite impact on the neighborhood. So if you could try to answer that question also.
Any other questions from the commission at this point? We do have a second public hearing.
Just a roundabout question. It's open only to the residents of 666 High Street. However, if the neighbors wanted to pay into getting a membership in this thing, would you be open to that? Because that might make it easier for them to accept.
I will ask a pool membership question.
I guess my question would be on the clubhouse end.
Yes.
Is there, it's a residential house now, is this, and I'm not familiar with what a clubhouse is, but is this going to be like an expanded shower and bathroom place where you're going to put in 5, 6 stalls? Do you know?
Yeah, there'll be changing rooms, bathroom and shower area for male, female. They'll be mostly opened up to be an open floor plan, rather than the house structure that exists now. But from the outside, no change in the physical structure of it. Meant just more for, I'll call it a clubhouse, for the plan, that a room for people to gather, but mostly for the pool use to go in and change and put from pool clothes back to street clothes.
As far as increase in actual bathrooms, drains, things like that, is there going to be an increase?
I don't suspect yeah, I'll check on the bathroom count.
We don't have a view of this yet by Director of Health. He's on
I
vacation.
hope we have that.
Yeah, we'll have that by the next hearing.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
Is the elevation of the clubhouse
Different than the elevation of the swimming pool?
Yeah, so the first floor of the existing house won't be changed, so there'll be a ramp down to the pool and steps down to the pool level.
So you probably, maybe you want to show that on the plan?
Relative elevation difference.
This is, Ron?
Yes, sir.
It's a 2-story house right now?
Yes.
Is there any, do you plan on using both floors, or?
I think not. I think more to open it up than anything.
Okay. And we do have a second public hearing, so we can ask other questions, get some more information. I'd like to see if anybody in the audience would like to ask questions at this point. And if you do, please come up and state your name and address for the record. Please. You want to start? Sure.
Can I remain seated? I'm not doing so well.
Absolutely. Just still do your name. Could you pick her up, Peter?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Leslie Marcus. I'm the homeowner of 68 Norton Avenue. My property is on the south-facing side. So 25 Halleck, the largest portion of 25 Halleck that you would see visibly, my property faces. So I would encourage each and every one of you to take a drive, if you haven't already, the street to see what that looks like. Ron and I had talked about the revision of this plan before we met tonight. I'm absolutely not comfortable with any kind of parking in front of my home. And I don't think any of you would want a parking lot put in front of your home. This conversation tonight brings up a lot of concerns for me that I had not initially thought of with regard to noise, lighting, sound. my hope for all of us is that this project, which I am, have always been very supportive of, 66 High Street, is that it continues to bring vitality to our community and our businesses, but we have to preserve the integrity of our neighborhood. And our neighborhood consists of, mostly small, quaint, charming Guilford-style homes. And to have a big clubhouse party scene happening directly across from my house especially is of grave concern. My hope as a homeowner was to take my house and actually put some money into it and actually develop it more, rebuild it to add value to our neighborhood. And my concern at this point is that that might not be a good investment if something like this is going to take place across the street. So I would encourage all of you to take a drive to my house and to where this project is being submitted so you can get a feel for it. And I'll, of course, be at all the additional meetings. And I appreciate your consideration.
I do have one comment, and I'm just curious, because you started off with, of course, what we added to your concern, what we brought up tonight. But go back to your original concern with the parking. Is that alleviated? Because it looks like the parking has gone away other than the handicap spot that doesn't look like it's in front of you anymore. So are you comfortable with that now? Is that at least, have they addressed that?
In a perfect world, there would not need to be parking at all surrounding the fencing of this pool. The only, if it were up to me, the residents of this complex would have their own access to the pool, and that would be it.
Well, am I missing this? There is no parking anymore, right? Other than the handicap. So there is no parking anymore.
Well, actually, there's a handicap.
Right, the handicap spot.
And a spot for a maintenance vehicle to park off to the left of my house, which they're going to try to hide by a fence or some shrubs past the utility pole. I'm not happy about that. If there's a way for them to not do that, that would be preferred. But no, it's not great, but it's better than a parking lot in front of my home.
Okay. So I have a question. This driveway road structure in front of her house, next to the house with the pool, is this a driveway? Is this a street? What is this?
My name is Barbara Major. I'm a homeowner at 62 Norton Avenue, which is also directly across the street from the project. So this has been a conundrum for years. So my property line is in about 4 feet into this project. My property goes across the road and into the meter's property. When we first moved there and had it surveyed, we addressed the town to redo the property lines because it technically is a road that's maintained, but it just never went anywhere. We didn't pursue it as well. But, technically I pay taxes on that road and into the metered property, like 3 feet in, correct. So it's just a weird how they, over the years when they made the edge of the street and I-1 zone, and then we're in the residential right next door, somehow it became from a driveway to a road, this kind of.
Well, if I could just ask,
What we pay tax on.
are the property lines, do you think, inaccurate on this map?
I can't see the property lines, nor do I have a map. I can just tell you that my property lines go across the street.
Okay.
And 3 feet into the meter property.
What, 3 feet into what property?
I'm not sure why that
Okay.
happened.
Ma'am, what is the meter property that you're referring to?
25 pallet.
Yeah,
Do-
where the clubhouse is.
Where the clubhouse.
This,
Clubhouse is going to be in?
when you surveyed this, did you come up to the same conclusion, or?
So we focused on the meter property itself. 66 High maintains a right-of-way through this property, pass and repass.
They have a formal easement?
Yes.
Okay.
I was never notified.
So that privilege you have to use that as a right-of-way, that right-of-way would not include any parking, though, would it?
Parking would be on the house.
Right now, I'm saying,
No, I
like,
would
if
say
people
that's
wanted to
probably-
park in the driveway against one side, if she owns it, and you have the right-of-way over it, you have a right-of-way, but you don't have the right to park cars on it, right?
So our parking is carved out of the back corner of the meter property.
Right, so you're providing one parking spot entirely for the use of the clubhouse? Is that correct?
A handicap spot for someone that couldn't walk all the way around and wanted to come right to the pool.
So do you envision a time or when someone who wants to use a clubhouse will park their car in the driveway?
So,
Aside from the handicap?
right, we thought of more for service, one handicap spot for obvious reasons, and one spot for someone to park, but mostly for a service vehicle, someone to service the pool.
Or to change the lights. But I'm more concerned about an ongoing cars parked in their driveway blocking access to these folks' homes or having cars that weren't there before.
When you say driveway, you mean the road, right?
Right,
You don't
that
mean
right
the
of
house
way. No,
driveway.
no, I mean the right of way.
No, we don't envision people parking, parallel parking along the street or anything.
It might be a good idea to have a copy of the easement for the right-of-way next time, just to see what it does and doesn't allow.
Okay.
So this plan doesn't include the current septic, and it also doesn't include the proposed septic.
Correct. We had discussion with Dennis Johnson that if the plan passes, the septic would be made fully compliant in the further. Right now, the septic is in the rear, closer to the marsh. We'd be moving the septic up to the front yard, away from the marsh, fully in compliance with the health code.
What's the age of the existing home?
1969.
1969.
Any more questions? Hi.
Not just a question, but a comment. Stan Mangone, I'm at 20 Halleck Street. My property is directly across from the meter property. And as the gentleman states, he wants to keep the look of the meter home as residential. The use of the property isn't residential, so I have a concern with the lighting, the extra noise, and it is a residential neighborhood. Small children, dogs, families, and in terms of the parking, I'm a little confused because most of the residents at 66 High should have a parking space, so there should be no need for parking at the pool unless there's guests, which is going to add to the traffic. In terms of service vehicles, I think if the pool would need to be serviced, vehicles should come down South Fair and into the property to service the pool and not down Halleck or down Norton to inconvenience the property owners.
One question, the parking side. If the meters, is that the name of the people who still?
Correct.
If they were to just leave the house as is with that footprint and put in a pool, it's sort of a residential use of the pool, how is what they're proposing, in your opinion, different from just the meters putting in a 24?
Well, that would be one residence.
Right, but I'm thinking.
One residence putting in a pool instead of a console.
Use, noise, light.
Right.
Correct.
The number of people you.
Someone using the clubhouse till 9 o'clock at night, it's not as a residential person. If I put a pool in my backyard, it's me putting in the pool. There's not.
Even if they had parties on the weekend, it's just, the usage is considerably more.
Correct. It's not residential usage. That's all.
Thank you.
One at a time, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm losing you guys.
Yeah, that's,
So is this a residential use for an R1 lot?
yeah, this is, well, as you know, special permit, 66 High Street is a special permit use, multifamily residential in the Town Center South, pursuant to the Town Center South overlay. So this is an amendment, if you will, to the special permit to allow additional facilities for the use of the 66 High Street development.
So is this through the town center south of overlay then?
Right, that's correct. That's, if this were a single-family home, they could build a pool, they wouldn't need any kind of special approval, but because it's part of the condominium, it is a special permit.
My name is Kristen Floyd. I live at 31 High Street, but my husband and I also own a house directly across on 59 Norton, which is the corner of Norton and Halleck. I have a number of concerns. The first is, like what Stan said, even all this focus on making the house appear residential, it's complete. If this pool is approved, it completely changes the neighborhood that we bought our homes in. We living at High Street, 31 High Street, we participated in the approval for 66 High Street, and we never said anything against it because it was within the original footprint of Clinnipad, and we thought it was an improvement. But this is coming into the neighborhood. It's essentially invading the neighborhood, and it's going to change it completely. Moreover, during Sandy, there was flooding in the Meters property, and I believe with the addition of a big patio and a huge pool back there, the water coming across the street to 59 Norton would be significantly increased. And I feel like, there's no way a pool of this size would be approved for a family, I don't even think, in that zone. There's no pools, in-ground pools in that area. So to me, it seems greedy, unnecessary, and I completely am opposed.
Do you have any questions at this point?
No.
Okay. We're going to try and do questions right now, and we can get to comments for or against after. So if anybody has any other questions, we'd like to field these. And obviously, there's a second public hearing, and I think a lot of the things that we brought up and that you guys brought up will be addressed at the next meeting, so I encourage you all to attend as well. We can do, if there are no other questions from the audience.
I'll just expand on what Stan has run.
Name and address, please.
Tom Floyd, 59 Norton, right across the street. The parking situation. Why? You have parking right around the corner, the back side, right? Why do you come at it that way? Why are you coming at it off of?
So the pedestrians that are capable, there'll be, and that's most of the use, will be a gate, a walkway through the fenced area and over to the pool area, never even leaving the 66 High Street property directly to the Meters. But not everyone's able. So the handicapped accessible is for someone who lives on the far side, Chittenden Building or something like that.
I get that, but why not put the handicap parking spot?
There's not parking back here. There's not. I don't know if maybe I'm not
There's not
conveying.
parking where you want to put the parking now. Why can't you make it happen on the other side?
No, there's parking up along the old mill building.
You got the fence behind the property, right?
Right.
Why can't you put the parking where the fence is?
That's emergency access. That's an emergency vehicle access. We can't block that. We can't we can't eliminate the rear access.
Okay.
And there's not parking. There's, wetlands over here, and, this driveway's, there's not room for parking in that vicinity.
You just couldn't make it happen on that side.
No. So, and that's where, in addressing, we hope to try to address the concerns of not changing the character of the view for the most part for everyone involved. This won't change. And when you go to see the telephone pole, you'll see by that telephone pole, their back is brush. It's not part of the residential landscape. It's kind of the transition area back here. There's a kind of a dying willow tree, and it's opposite the Perkins property, which is also kind of, Leslie and I were talking about how, and Leslie, this kind of shows it, the Perkins property just kind of opens up into this free-form driveway structure or whatever. This would kind of finish off our corner of it here and give some structure. It would fit right in with the curb and the rear access here to create, we thought, just a real small parking area that was hidden. So the fence, the cedar fence will be along here, will hide the parking for the most part. I don't think if you were standing here, you wouldn't see the parking. It'll be kind of hidden by the fenced area. and the landscaping in that back vicinity, and yet give critical access to the pool for service. I think we can all understand the service needs of the pool, and one handicap spot. So we're trying to minimize it to the absolute requirements needed to function properly.
Can I ask a question?
Sure you can.
And I don't know, Ron, I don't know if you'll have the answer to this or if anyone else would here, but what else is this particular property suitable for, if not for a pool and a clubhouse, based on the zoning? Is it suitable just for another residential home, single-family home? Is it suitable for,
Yeah, I'm going to defer to...
I'm not sure what you mean by suitable.
well, I'm just wondering,
It's an approved use in this overlay.
just wondering if this project were not to happen, is there something else that it could be used for that would improve, that would make everyone in the neighborhood happy?
Well,
And
George,
make Kenny happy.
what's it
and
zoned, R3?
The residents of 66 High Street.
So any,
A single or two-family home.
But George,
Yeah.
under the town center south overlay, do I remember something about a 60-foot building, 6-story height limit? So, something good could go there, but something bad could go there too.
No, I think it's either going to be, an adjunct to 66 High Street as this contemplates, or will remain as a single-family home. Those are the two potentially viable uses. I'm not sure that answers your question, but
George.
yeah.
Given its proximity, does this have anything to do with the camp?
It didn't trigger a CAM, did it, or did it?
I don't know if this is a CAM application. I don't believe it is.
no, it's
but
a special permit,
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm assuming it wasn't in the review area, right?
Right.
I think that was reviewed by staff.
I think that's correct. Yeah, Kevin looked at
If
that.
it's within 100 feet of the coastal resources, then it triggers CAM.
So
So is it?
so we're good.
Don't know. I don't know.
We should ask the question, we should get that answer at
Kevin
the next
wrote a
meeting.
letter.
Yeah.
Was it 100 foot for wetland or or coastal resource?
I don't know. The other, there's another
The
sort of...
wetland flag on the map is the tidal wetland. This wetland flag that you see. And this is a 20 scale map, so the wetland is
It's hard to
slightly
tell
over
from this
100
map.
feet away from the
But we'll look,
proposed
we'll
project.
get the answer to that. The other kind of elephant in the room about this whole area, of course, is the Perkins property, which is actually an industrially zoned parcel, which is currently, and this what we were referring to earlier as a driveway, that's actually the principal and only access to that industrial warehouse type use in the back. It's kind of the south corner of this property. That's not going to be immediately affected by this, but that is also part of this whole neighborhood.
Other question? I thought I saw somebody else with a question.
So, I'm just...
Name and address, please.
Yeah, so I'm at 20 Howland Street.
And your name?
Arlene and Joan.
Thank you.
So I'm across the street as well. So I'm just wondering, and this may have been brought up because I did come in late, I apologize, but how many spaces of parking are we looking at?
One handicapped and one regular.
So two parking spots, that's it?
And now, sir,
Be on the north side, and that's going to be across
On the
from...
driveway, right, on the extension of Norton, if that's what you're calling the driveway.
and now, sir, so you made a very recent adjustment from this bottom map, which
Correct.
has how many? 8. 7. So 5 have been removed. There was already one for handicapped, and you were sort of going to use some of the other 6 for service.
Just, I guess, recognizing the concerns of the neighbors, we eliminated this completely, but so the handicap stayed exactly where it was, and there's room next to the handicap between that and the catch basin to have one more service location.
Now, the total impermeable surface on this property currently? What percentage of this property is actually impermeable now?
I don't have those, I'll have those calculations. We went through those calculations. It complies with zoning. By the zoning regs, addition of a pool enables you to up the percentage to 15%, George? Yeah. Allows
There's no impervious surface requirement for, in residential zones, if that's what you were asking. There's a coverage requirement for buildings and structures.
I was wondering how much more of this land is going to be impervious now that with this plan, what's the increase in impervious surface? Because a lot of these residents who are towards the marsh or towards the coast, they're partly concerned with runoff. I mean, the change in the sheeting of the water as a nuisance factor, not as a wetlands consideration per se.
They can do calculations to determine increase or decrease in runoff.
Yeah.
And they can probably address any increase with some sort of subsurface retention.
If it's really a percentage increase. I mean, an increase in the percentage right now, though.
I'll have that calculation and the zone.
Fergus, how many bedrooms are there in the house right now? And I haven't heard anything about removing them, so I'm going to put a hypothetical out. Could you use this as guest accommodations for people in the condominiums?
Oh,
It might not be the plan now, we're asking, could you?
Yeah, I'll have to get an answer on that.
And while you're there, how many people, because it's a residential use, how many people can live there over what period of time?
We don't have any, we have no regulation on occupancy of residential.
Could be a group home.
Could be.
It's
In theory,
residential.
dozens of people in there in theory.
It's not residential.
We've seen that before.
Could be a group home.
Yes.
What are the dimensions of the
24 by 40.
I'm sorry, how deep is that water? Depth?
Depth of the pool, standard 8 feet, I would assume, in the deep end?
Quick, may I ask Ron a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
For the next meeting, can your team prepare information that would support for my property and also for the Floyd's property at 59 Norton to ensure what kind of change and runoff might occur with your new plans? To support the
62.
Because all the ones that are cornered, yeah, all of us.
No, it's a site calculation that we'll
Okay.
propose.
Because actually, so my property, which is directly across from 25 Halleck, there's only ever been one very small floodplain on my property since 1978 when it was built. And I know that on 25 Halleck, that was a very different story because it's a different elevation. So I think that we need to be very cautious about that. And same for 59 and...
You'll have a detail on it.
Okay.
So that's an inland rainfall, inland storm.
Okay.
Unaffected will be a coastal storm that would flood all of you, and this won't make it better or worse. You know that.
Okay, we'll do the runoff.
We will.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll be here. All right.
Is that
Pretty
a
much
scientific fact?
sounds pretty good.
Is that a scientific fact that a coastal storm, like taking up that much, that what used to be permeable and having a pool there, wouldn't make it worse?
A storm surge from Long Island Sound pushed up under the railroad bridge and pushing backwater into this area won't be impacted by this pool, is what I'm saying.
Because it's coming from
Right.
the other direction.
Right.
It would have to have completely crossed that area before a storm surge would affect it. And this is an AE zone anyway, so this is considered to be just standing water rise as opposed to wave action rise, which probably the residents are aware that you don't really get wave action, right?
No, it's
Closer.
there. It's a matter of water is water, water eventually has to
Right.
gas.
Right.
And if you take up some of that space, it has to go somewhere.
I mean, you're talking about more like rainfall and heavy storms as opposed to coastal storm surge. When you're talking about like a very heavy rain that results in, runoff towards the ocean, that's sort of considered separately from, Hurricane Sandy or something heavy like that.
All right, so we have a lot of questions and answers that'll be right in the next meeting.
I think she wants another question?
We're just going to see.
My question is that, did the residents, are you selling this as part of 66 High Street people? Because it was not part of the original plan, so they had no expectation of this kind of amenity. They're buying their properties anyway.
I believe that to the extent it's only being said that we're requesting permission to put in a pool. We can't promise anything until we have approval.
But you've already sold.
And you know what, could we just, we have no jurisdiction over that, so I'd rather keep it to what we can actually, what we can actually approve, so that really is unrelevant to us. You might want to ask him after some questions on that. So if there's any other questions that are relevant to the application before us, and like I said, you guys have, hopefully they're going to come back with a ton of answers on the July 12th, and you will also have an opportunity to speak, ask questions, and speak at that as well, and be very clear on that. So.
Well, Mr. Chairman, the other question is, do we want a site visit on the proposal?
I think in this case, it might be a wise idea to do a sidewalk,
We've all sort of
just to get it.
seen it,
Yeah.
but I've mostly seen the next street over in my lifetime.
Yeah,
I think it's important to see
Okay, so
where the
we'll,
parking's going to be.
we'll send out an email on when we could put that together.
We're not going to be,
Well, we got to be very careful, because as a group visit, it becomes a meeting, and you can't have a quorum. So I think it could be an individual, let's go, take a look.
I've been to the site numerous times.
Sidewalk committee, but yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think it's a really good idea.
Yes, we did. We used to have one.
Frank. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Barbara Major, 62 North Avenue again. I would encourage you all to do that. I would also encourage you to come onto my property and stand and look at the property and imagine how different it would be if I'm looking at a residential home now, which is why I purchased my home where I did. And I will no longer be looking at a residential home across the street. So I encourage you, at any time, you have my permission to come onto my property, I'm sure Leslie will as well, and stand and look from our view, because we're directly across the street from it. So
Yeah, definitely, thank you.
Yeah, but we want to hold a vote on whether or not we're going to actually have a site visit. I mean, those used to be meetings, and for this is sort of a, there are a lot of questions that relate to how it, how it looks.
Why can't we do it on our own, so we don't have to
I mean,
actually?
we can.
I think we will. I think everybody will.
We've done that before, too.
It's really close to the green.
actually, Alan will invite himself in for lunch.
You okay with that? Okay.
I mean, so,
That's what I would propose, do it on our own.
and not do a site visit meeting.
I think there's something to be said for, if we're going to meet collectively, hearing what other people's thoughts are, as opposed to just independently trying to go there and figure out what's going on.
No, I think
You got to be careful about not in a public forum where everybody has the right to
Right.
hear an input. You can't do that.
Like, so this is public hearing.
So we can't even talk to each other.
Because that's what we,
That's why I think we should just do it individually.
And if we go there on our own, we probably should remind the neighbors that they can't.
Yeah, don't come out.
Oh,
You say hi.
Oh,
Please don't discuss.
The public hearings, everybody can hear the same thing and react to it.
Yeah, I think.
This one is easy to do on our own
Exactly.
compared to others.
I think we're all, I think we're all pretty honorable when we'll do that, so. All right, guys. We okay? All right, great.
I'll move to continue this to 7,
Second.
12,
14.
12, 17. All right, all in favor?
Wait.
What?
What was the real date?
7, 12.
12.
17. 7, 12, 17. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you guys very much.
Mr. Chairman, as much as there's no other business before the commission, I make a motion to close this meeting.
All in favor? Aye. Beautiful.
we already did.